thank you all for attending today, and I'm sorry for being a few seconds late myself here. This is the City of Gainesville Audit Committee for June 6, 2023. And Madam Clerk,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our first item is the adoption of the agenda.
do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, our next item is the approval of the minutes from April 5th, 2023 Audit Committee meeting with a recommendation that the Audit Committee approve these minutes.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Madam Clerk.
Our business discussion item for today is 2023-533 FY 2022 Audited Financial Statements, Independent Auditor's Report, and Annual Audit Governance Letters, with a recommendation that the Audit Committee review, approve, and recommend the City Commission accept the audited financial statements, Independent Auditor's Report, and Annual Audit Governance Letter.
Excellent. Madam Auditor, do you want to take the lead on this?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Ward, Mayor Pro Tem, Committee Member Monk. I'm happy to say that we are here as Purpose Gray presents the fiscal year 22 General Government Audited Financial Statements. Management has worked diligently to provide the statements prior to the state mandated deadline of June 30. So I'm going to introduce Ms. Barbara Boyd, who will be presenting the financial statements for Purpose Gray. And after her, Ms. Wong will have a few comments after Ms. Boyd is finished. Barbara is an audit partner with Purpose Gray & Company. She's been with the firm for over 16 years and specializes in audits of local governments and public utilities. She graduated from the University of Florida with a master's in accounting, and she's a licensed CPA in Florida. I'd like to welcome Ms. Barbara Boyd.
Welcome, Ms. Boyd.
Thank you. All right, so I will also present Kevin Smith. He is a director with Purvis Gray & Company, and he is in charge of the audit engagement. He's a director in charge of the audit engagement. So with that, we'll dig right in. I feel like I was just here presenting the fiscal year 21 audit, so I'm pleased that in such a short time we're able to present fiscal year 22. We'll be talking about all 5 reports, so annual comprehensive financial report, which is the big book that you have, as well as the remaining separate financial statements, the wild spaces and public places funds, the employees pension plan, the consolidated police officers and firefighters retirement plan, and the retiree health insurance program. So the results of all 5 of those audits are in this one slide right here. Fortunately, Mr. Monk, we will not be going through the financial statements page by page. So most, we'll start with this. So all 5 of the reports have got 2 of those reports in them. So the independent auditor's report and the internal control report are included in all 5 of your bound financial statements. The remainder of those are only in your ACFR. So the auditor's opinion on the financial statements and notes, the first item there, you received an unmodified or a clean opinion on all 5 of your financial statements. That means that you can rely on the information, the numbers that are included in there are fairly presented in all material respects, and we came to that conclusion based on the evidence that we gathered and the testing that we performed. There is in your ACFR one emphasis of matter paragraph that relates to a restatement of beginning fund balance. And that restatement had to do with a couple of items. So the first, if you recall, when you issued your pension obligation bonds, a portion of that was used to reduce the GRU pension liability and your other enterprise funds like RTS and your solid waste. And then a portion of that was reducing the general government pension liability. The portion that reduced the GRU pension liability is recorded as a liability, an inter-fund liability on the GRU financial statements and a receivable on the general government financial statements, an inter-fund receivable. There were a couple of issues last year. There was a change in the allocation of that percentage that was due from GRU. At the time, we thought it was a change in estimate, but it turns out it was actually an error, so that was corrected this year through a beginning fund balance adjustment. And then there was also a change that receivable is reported in a debt service fund, which is a non-major governmental fund. And GASB requires fund balance in those funds to be reported as that fund balance in particular to be reported as assigned as opposed to non-spendable. And if it's reported as assigned, that to the commission means, oh, it's available for spending in future budgets. But that receivable is really non-spendable. You're not going to receive it for another 20, 30 years, whatever the term of that bond is. So we moved it to the general fund. So that's all that was. It's just moving the receivable from a non-major fund to the general fund so that it could be reported in non-spendable fund balance. And then the last item that was a restatement was the implementation of a new accounting standard, GASB 87, on leases. So that was required to be implemented this year for both GRU and general government. GRU, because they report comparative financial statements, had to implement it as of 10/1/20 as opposed to 10/1/21, which required a small adjustment to their beginning equity. The next item on there is the compliance with Florida Statute 218-415. That's the investment statute. We issue an examination report that states that we, in our opinion, you complied with the investment statute. The next item is a report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters. So as part of any audit, we review your internal controls. We don't audit internal controls. We don't issue an opinion on them. But we do review them to help us with our risk assessment. And through that process, if we identify any control deficiencies that we consider to be significant deficiencies or material weaknesses, we do report those here. So there are two items that are carried over from several years, from 2018, and that's the bank reconciliations that were not being completed timely and the financial close and reporting process. With the financial close and reporting, there were about 100 adjustments that still had to be made to the trial balance of the financial statements after we began our audit. But while I would normally say that's very serious and a cause for concern, I will just remind you we finished our fiscal year 21 audit in December of 22. We didn't begin it until July of 22. So there was really not much opportunity for correcting any of fiscal year 22 at the time. So our fiscal year 22 audit preliminary field work began in January of 23. Final field work began in March of 23. There really was just very limited time for management, for finance team to prepare for the audit, for the fiscal year 22 audit. So those are mostly just carryover financial statements, in my opinion. And again, don't have complete control over this, but if management continues in the trajectory that we've seen, as we saw in their preparedness for the audit this year, we do believe these items could be finally closed and corrected by next year. So, the auditor's opinion on compliance, moving on, the auditor's opinion on compliance for each major federal program. These are your reports on your single audit. So we select certain major programs, significant grants, and dig into compliance with certain direct and material compliance requirements. If there are any issues, we also look at your internal controls over compliance. If there are any issues, we report those to you as well. So I am pleased to say you had unmodified opinions on compliance for the single audit and no internal control issues to report. And then finally, you have a management letter in accordance with Chapter 10550, the Rules of the Auditor General. In this management letter, the AG requires us to include certain information, but part of that is if there are any control deficiencies or non-compliance that just didn't rise to the level of being reported in the yellow book letter, in the government auditing standards letter, those would be reported here as well. So I'm pleased to say we had no recommendations for improvement or other matters to report in this letter. All right, just a couple more slides, and that's it for the bound report. And you also receive separate letters, which are the governance letters. These governance letters really help you assess the results of the audit, things that may not be readily apparent just from reading the financial statements. And so there are certain qualitative aspects of accounting policies. Your accounting policies are listed in Note 1 of all of your financial statements. There was one change in the application of existing policies, and that's the implementation of GASB 87 on leases this year. It required a right-of-use asset to be reported on your financial statements for any long-term non-cancelable leases, as well as a liability to go with that. So not a significant impact on your equity, but it did add an asset and a liability. And that's for lessees. For lessors, it required a receivable and a deferred inflow. So again, not a significant impact on equity, but adding assets and liabilities to your balance sheet. Significant estimates are listed there. Won't go through all of them. Just know that there are estimates that could fluctuate year over year in your financial statements. And then sensitive disclosures, we do just highlight Note 16 on your financial statements, which is the interfund balance disclosure, because there are significant interfund balances between enterprise funds and governmental activities. Some of those which may not be repaid within 1 year, so they are reported as non-spendable fund balance. And finally, just a few other matters that are reported in that governance letter. Difficulties encountered in performing the audit. No difficulties in dealing with management and performing and completing our audit. This is the first year since I've been doing the audit that we've actually been able to say that. There's always been some delay or management not being prepared. There's always been some reason we had some difficulties in performing the audit. So I'm very pleased to say this year that was not an issue. Corrected and uncorrected misstatements, like I mentioned, there were about 100 adjustments to the financial statements. Some of those were audit adjustments. A lot of those were just management basically doing their analytics as we were doing the audit at the same time. And some of them were just the combination of the two. So all of the adjustments are actually listed. They're attached to the corresponding governance letter. And then no disagreements with management, and we did receive certain management representations to let us know that they disclosed anything and everything to us. So that concludes my presentation.
Very good, thank you. I always appreciate working with you all, and it's good to have you back again. Especially good today. It's a significant improvement, so thank you. And Ms. Wong, did you want to?
Mr. Mayor, Audit Committee members, Sue Wong, Finance Director. With regards to the audit, I only have one thing to say, which is that we are caught up. As recent as 6 months ago, we were dealing with 3 fiscal years, but now, we have fiscal year 2023 to deal with, and then we thought we'll get a breather, but fiscal year 2023 year-end planning is coming up. So typically, three months before year-end, we start planning for reviewing our cash and see whether if there's any need for interfund cash transfer. And we finalize our checklist to get ready for the audit. So, but I do want to take this opportunity to thank my accounting team, which is here with me today. I also want to introduce our new controller, Dennis Nguyen. Dennis is a certified public accountant. He came to us from University of Florida. So he's been here for over a month, but he's already made his presence known and managed to have all of us like him and like to work with him. So I would like to introduce Mr. Nguyen and have him say a few things about himself.
Very good. Come on up, Mr. Wynn.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Dennis Wen. I've been a local resident at the city of Gainesville for over 27 years. I was raised in the city, going through the education system up to the University of Florida. I have over 8 years of experience doing tax and audit at a local accounting firm, and also preparing financial statements at the University of Florida. I am honored to serve this city and its people. Thank you.
Thank you. We're very pleased to have you here. And Ms. Wong, congratulations on filling out the finance team. It is critically important, obviously, to have those positions filled, and filled with people who are able to be counted on. And as we respond to the challenges that we've been faced with over the years, the lesson from this, of course, is that we always have to take good care of the finance and department, and make sure that we are staffed in full with folks who are dedicated to the city of Gainesville and bring the tools necessary to the department. And I'm so glad that after years of moving back and forth, you and Manager Curry have got us in a position where that is absolutely the case. So thank you for that. Madam Auditor, did you have any other comments there?
No, I don't. Just thank you again to Purvis Gray and to management. Thank
Very
you.
good. All right. Thank you all. Members of the committee.
I have one question. There's a $78,000 approximate cash difference. Has that been reconciled?
Yes, Mr. Wynn can confirm, but I think through April 30th of 2023, I think our cash is down to, is it down to $10,000 or, yeah. So we didn't adjust the cash in 2022 because we knew part of it was related to old checks. So we've been dealing with that since October 2022, which is the beginning of 2023. So yeah, it's been taken care of.
Okay, so we shouldn't anticipate comments similar down the road?
Correct. Yeah. So cash has been reconciled on a monthly basis, starting with October 2022. And again, that difference came from the beginning balance that came from several years ago. It needed to, resolve itself. The current month activities have been reconciled.
Very good, thank you.
Commissioner?
I just wanted to say thank you to Purvis Gray and staff. I think everybody who has been paying even the least bit of attention knows the huge mountain that this was to climb. And you all have done that. I think it was, I felt like a load was lifted off my shoulders when I heard you say the words, "We're caught up." That was really tremendous. And so it does not, I don't take that lightly. I can only imagine the countless hours that staff has had to spend, the sacrifices that you have had to make. And so thank you. It seems almost insufficient, but please know that that's where I'll begin. Thank you, Madam Curry. I like this team. I like this team, and I'm grateful for the addition. We look forward to the wonderful work that you'll continue with this group. And let's just continue charging ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we look for a motion, does anyone from the public wish to comment? Or do we have anyone signed up? Okay. All right, very good. Then we would need a motion to recommend this to the full commission.
I move that we recommend the Audit Committee review and report to the full commission.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to forward this to the full commission, which we will have on the agenda for June 15th. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, any member comment? All right, I will once again thank everyone involved, from Purvis Gray, from the manager's office, from the finance and accounting office, and of course, our auditing office. Thank you for managing the external auditors, and thank you to my colleagues on the audit committee, and we will look forward to having this discussion again in a week and a half.
For sure.
All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.